guys. I can't believe I actually timed that correctly. I clicked in the iTunes. I clicked on the, what's it called? H2R graphics countdown, and it ended at the same time. This is like old school, starting the tape deck at the right moment for the lights to happen or whatever. Oh, man. Well, happy Friday to you guys. I hope that you're doing well wherever you're joining from. Drop that in the chat, why don't you? I just love getting to start out that way and seeing where guys are hopping on from, whether it's Doug from Illinois or Mike from Indonesia. Man, thank you so much for being here. We got Jason. I think you were the first one in the house today. He says, good morning, listening from Ohio State University, working on a lighting install. Very fun. What kind of lighting install? We'll forgive you that you're working at the Buckeyes University there as a Sooner fan. But thanks for joining the live stream, Jason. Appreciate having you on always. And we got some other people dropping in here from New Palestine, Indiana, and Buford, Georgia. And hey, Josh from Texas. Man, and my fellow Owasoan, this is our connection director, Deborah. Yes, this video is not sponsored by Quick Trip, but if they would like to, we can have that conversation as well. Someone rearranged their office, so yes, but only because my TV that's over there for some reason has not been working the last couple days, and so I had to steal another TV to kind of set up this way. And I was like, you know what? Let's change the view back to kind of the corner view where you can see the Get Fiddles and the piano and all those fun things. I got my old church pew over there that got off Facebook Marketplace that essentially holds a bunch of junk usually. So yeah, hopefully you appreciate the new view. We do have two cameras going currently. This one is the Canon RP with the 85mm 1.8, and then this one is a GH5 with a Sigma 18-35 at 1.8 with a dummy converter, not a speed booster on there. So I hope that they match okay and that works fine. This TV is probably 12 or 13 years old that I'm using to watch this on, so I probably won't be making too much comments about your live stream colors unless I come over here and check it on my MacBook. I guess I can do that. So hopefully you have submitted your live streams. If you're wanting to get those reviewed, I would love to, take a look at what your Easter services were like. Easter's over. We did it, right? Woohoo! We did it. It was great for us here at Central. It was a great weekend, and just super thankful to kind of be on the other side of it and be able to celebrate with my teams this week and just give them a big pat on the back for all that they did to help make our weekend services go smoothly. How were your Easter services? Did you have any chaos ensue? I was very thankful that everything behaved correctly. If you watched my most recent video about our scrim drop that we did, the Kabuki drop, then you kind of got to see behind the scenes there and peek behind of how we accomplished that. And maybe your church has done that before, but for us, that was a first, and it took a lot to make that all happen. But luckily, it all worked, and the scrim fell at the right time. So if you haven't watched that video, make sure and go check that out. But the rest of our Easter, we also have a Good Friday service that we do in the round, and I have a video on the channel about that as well, kind of the details of how we set up, worship in the round. But it's always a great time of worship. And then Easter Sunday morning, we had our normal 2 Sunday morning experiences, our worship services, identical modern worship services. It was great. I didn't have to, do a traditional and a contemporary and that kind of thing. And it was just a lot of fun. But hold the phones because Steve in the house with the super chat.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Steve, if you did submit a live stream for review, I'll look under your name, but go ahead and type in what church you're submitting underneath as well. But thank you so much for that super chat. I really appreciate it. This channel is not, I don't have any sponsorships or memberships. I know a lot of guys that do the similar stuff are kind of, and I understand it, moving these types of deals to a behind a paywall kind of thing, maybe a YouTube membership or, what's the other one? Patreon, that a lot of people will do. And I get that because maybe this is like an extended benefit to people that enjoy your content. And I've thought about doing that, but honestly, I want to have this community time where we can chat back and forth and all of that kind of stuff. So let me just look at the chat right now and see if there's been any other comments that we should get to, and I love to start with just questions about worship and tech stuff. Oh gosh. Spence says he'd rather be working on a new lighting install, but he's working on taxes. Oh my goodness. Yeah, gotta love taxes. Yeah. Isaac says Easter felt too easy, honestly. Well, I guess that's a good thing. Charles, you got 1 beat off on the click and the time code during our Easter opener. I mean, 1 beat, surely nobody noticed that unless you had like backing vocals in there or things like that. Then it can get real weird. But 1 beat, I feel like, is the hardest to recover from, because like 2 beats, you can cut off a measure, cut it in half. But those odd numbers like 1 and 3, then it's hard to force everyone back onto the click. So dang, man, that's no fun. Yo, Rylan, I went from 7-year volunteer to now part-time media and production coordinator. That is awesome, man. Congratulations. Sounds like you've earned it and you've put in the time and effort to show that you really care about the ministry. So that's awesome. Oh gosh, Shane, we had a medical emergency. Everyone was okay, but interesting nonetheless. Like you had an elderly person, fall or, maybe have a heart episode. We've had that happen too. And that is the weirdest thing when you're on stage, to kind of see maybe that something out of the corner of your eye and everybody rushing over there. And you're like, do I stop? Do I just keep going? So it sounds like everybody was okay. So that's good. Oh my goodness. They got lucky. Our stream computer blue screen no more than 2 minutes after the stream. So it was right after the stream ended. That is lucky. Oh, we got some more super chats in the house here. Yes, thank you so much. $5 from Tank. If you submitted their Easter service as well. Wakarusa. All right, cool, man. I appreciate it. And then also Noah in the house with $5 submitted our Easter stream, New Palestine Bible Church. Very cool. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate that. You guys are pushed to the top of the list is what that is doing. So we got three already in, on the list, on the dock. Let's see. Facebook Marketplace keeps telling me I should buy your old ATEM. Well, then you should, I got it already packaged over there and ready to go. I had just like 2 minutes while the countdown was going, I was messaging another guy about buying it. So $475, that includes shipping anywhere in the continental United States, and it can be yours. So we sold the other one. This one still works fine. And we just, we've upgraded to the Constellation. Oh gosh, had a man pass out in the balcony. Dang. Okay, well, let's get to some of these questions that have come in, and we'll kind of touch on these. What is a good crowd mic setup? Well, I can tell you what our crowd mic setup is, and I think people get a little hung up on the actual microphone that you use for the crowd mic and don't worry as much about the actual mic placement. So let me just explain what we have for ours. So we have some old AKG shotgun mics that we have mounted on our light bar that is directly above the front rim of the stage. That light bar sits right behind our speaker arrays. So it's really the perfect place for us to put. We have one on each end of that light bar. And so that ends up being kind of in between our 3 arrays of speakers. So here's gosh, it's backwards. Right is left, left is right. Here's our microphones, and then our speakers are center, and then 2 out here. And since it's just behind those speakers, that's the best place for us. It doesn't catch any of the actual sound coming out of the speakers, but it also rejects the stage noise of our drums. That's the only stage volume we have is our acoustic drums. So it does a pretty good job of that, the way they're angled. And for us, we're up high enough that a shotgun mic doesn't get too focused I feel like it actually does the best job of kind of capturing your audience, your congregation singing. Those are shotgun mics though. And a lot of people would recommend like hypercardioid or even just cardioid mics if you're maybe not that high up. And so I don't know what your budget is, but like the Behringer C2, they're like 60 or 70 bucks for a matched pair. And there's some cheap mics that you could grab off Amazon and use my affiliate links, obviously. I'll put those in the description. But there's lots of options out there. And so the other thing that I want to say about audience mics that we're going to try, and maybe you guys have tried this, I really want to add some sidechain compression to them based on our drum bus. So that way when the drums aren't playing, they can actually come up and be a little hotter in the mix. But then when the drums are playing, they kind of shrink back in the mix, because I feel like those are the times that you really want the audience mics kind of breathing life into the stream, is when it's those down parts and you can hear people singing and doing that kind of thing. Or maybe even for your pastoral preaching time, you want to hear the laughter or the response kind of stuff in the audience a little bit more. You don't want it to just sound like a CD recording, like me sitting here in my office talking on my microphone. So, it is a live stream. The other thing that we do, whatever mics you use, I've found in our stream, like I do a high cut and a low cut on those microphones. A lot of low cut and just a little bit of high cut. And to where that vocal range of like, I don't know, 1 to 3K is hopefully going to cut through a little bit. But don't go overboard, and we can kind of see, y'all's streams and see how you're doing your audience mics and if it helps or not. You can always just throw some reverb in there too. But yeah. Follow-up question. So is higher better with crowd mics? The problem you'll have is if you have a low ceiling and you try to use like a more directional mic, you're going to get small pockets of people. And so say you get that really loud singer or that person just talking or whatever, it's going to really be focused on those different pockets of people. So that's why you'll see a lot of bigger places, they'll have multiple crowd mics hanging around, pointing straight down even, that are just hanging from the ceiling. Then you just have to set your delays accordingly if you have them out over the audience. Where we have them, we don't have to worry about setting any delays because it's in line basically with our speaker, our speaker arrays, if that makes sense. Tank says, what resources do you recommend to use with volunteers to help catch the difference of mixing front of house versus live stream audio? Well, Tank, I actually don't train my volunteers on how to mix live stream audio. That's not the way we do it at my church. Now, there's a lot of great resources out there. You've got MXU. Jake over at Churchfront has a lot of different options. I will link in the description. Church Live Streaming Sound Made Simple, I think is what it's called, by Collaborate Worship. I've got an affiliate link to their course that the guys over across town have made that is really solid. But essentially the way we do it is our live stream mix is just a matrix now that combines two different stereo buses. One is the actual band and vocals mix, and then one is our drum mix that's actually pre-fader. Drums are pre-fade, everything else is post-fade, and those get fed together in a matrix with audience mics and all of that. That way we can set things independently. And so for us, what we've realized is if your sound system in your room is set up correctly and you have good gain structure and all those things, and you're not having to compensate a lot in the room for like shortcomings of your room where maybe your drums or your vocals or whatever, you're having to really push one or the other or subdue the other one, you can make up that a little bit with your post-fader stereo mix. So I have a video on my channel that you can look up, a most recent one. If you just search like Rylan Russell broadcast on YouTube, broadcast mix, you'll find it. But we don't mix in a box or anything like that. We don't do any Ableton or Logic Pro or, you know, Pro Tools or anything like that. So, yeah. Okay. So Benji says we sidechain our crowd mics to the band. If the band is full, it dips the mics. If they're not playing, it brings the mics up a bit. Also, they come up a bit more during speaking moments. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. I don't know, like band for us includes like piano and everything. And so even on those down moments where I'm playing acoustic and piano, I probably would want the crowd mics up just a tiny. So that's why I was thinking our drum bus that we already have everything in. So, but that's exactly what I was thinking. So we'll try that. Okay. Yeah. They said, Tank says we use Rode M5 matched pair for ambient mics. Are the M5, let's look over here at the difference there. Rode M5. Matched pair, $299. Are they just cardioid? Of course, I zoomed in too much. I mean, these just look like cardioid. I don't know that they're super it doesn't have like a diagram of their pickup pattern here. Small diaphragm condenser mic, cardioid condenser. Yeah, so the Rode I've heard good things about these. The ones I was talking about, Behringer C2 pair. Those are $200. The Behringer C2s are $60 for a matched pair. So I don't know. Maybe I should do a comparison video about that, about those two different mics. I've been intrigued by both of them for different use cases, but man, I've just heard for $60, it's hard to beat. And since you're scooping so much intelligibility out of the microphones as it is when you're doing the audience mic stuff, probably pickup pattern placement is most important, and then matching, you know, time aligning them, of course. Hi. Thanks for hopping on. Was there any other questions before we jump into it here? Yeah. Okay. Question, getting a full sound on the live with 4 vocals, guitar, and piano. Sadly, no multi-tracks yet. We are using a matrix bus mix. Hard part is, so what was your question? How to get that full sound? I would say even if you're not doing tracks, if you want to just kind of fill in that sound, one thing that I found is super helpful is just to run a pad underneath that kind of fills in all of that empty dead space, and that kind of helps glue everything together. You don't have to use a click track, just make sure it's in the right key, and that really does help kind of glue things together. Question, I'm looking for a full frame mirrorless camera with stabilization. Right now I have a GH4. What is a great camera? I'm looking at the Sony a7 IV. Well, so, I mean, is that your budget? Full frame mirrorless camera with stabilization. So you don't have any lenses yet for a full frame. So that probably isn't a limitation, I'm assuming, unless you've bought a bunch of EF glass to convert, you know, to adapt to your GH4. That was kind of my case, was we had bought a bunch of EF full frame stuff to adapt with Metabones onto our GH4s. And so I ended up buying this Canon just because I had Canon lenses. Obviously, the Sony a7 IV is more, I believe, you know, that's more of a photo camera, really, I believe. I mean, it's a great camera, but how expensive? If you've been happy with Panasonic, a lot of people are loving the S5 Mark II. So the A7 IV is $2,500. 4K 60 10-bit versus, oh my goodness. goodness. What? I just want to... Oh, it's telling me. I don't know how to work the internet. I just want to click there. There we go. Wow. This TV is so washed out I can't see white and like grays. The difference. S5 Mark II. So it's 2000 and it's got a few more features probably. I don't know for sure though. I mean, it's hard to go wrong with Sony right now. They're, I feel like, the king, whether that's an FX3. It just depends on your budget. If I had unlimited budget, I'd probably go out and buy a bunch of FX3, FX6 type stuff to really just go all out in it. But they're $3,500, $4,000 a piece. So it can get pretty crazy. Just got here. What did I miss? A lot. You missed everything. We're almost done. No. Oh, goodness. Let me see if there's any other questions here. Well, Isaac says, glad to see that Pro worked well for Easter. Let's talk about our Easter service just for a minute here. We did have a great Easter, and that'll be kind of our first live stream review kind of thing here. I will show you the actual live stream of that moment. This is our opener here. And so let's just go with it. This is our big scrim drop. I've got it kind of in the middle.
Light. The sky shook in power. Heaven rolled away the stone. Jesus, the King of Kings, is alive. No tears of grief could wash away the joy in our hearts. We held our breath in disbelief, and the guards were paralyzed in fear. How could this happen? We saw him. Is this the great miracle of heaven, that we would be loved and redeemed by God? The prophets promised one that would save us, one who would bring freedom and healing. It is this Jesus. We are sure of it. He is a man just like the rest of us, but he is God sent to redeem us.
Here it comes.
And now we stand together, never alone, singing praise to our God forever and ever, with one voice, through one name,
Cable
the
cam.
name above every name, Jesus Christ, the risen King.
Yeah, so this is our second service, and it all went good. As far as how we did all that I didn't mention in the video, that was just a rendered video coming through ProPresenter 7, and I bounced down the multi-tracks, obviously, to the way we run them, which is just a stereo clicking guide on one side, track on the other side. So I had to really be conscious about pushing that voiceover on top of everything, and really compress it and make it really gonna stand out, so that way they were able to push it on top of the band live even, because it was pretty rocking in there, but it was just a great moment, you know, getting to kind of show that veil being torn. Yeah, it was awesome, man. So if you haven't watched that video, make sure you go check it out. Woohoo, yeah. Easter. And then we, of course, did just like a normal worship set after that, but it was great. No, they won't work. Not if they're Micro Four Thirds lenses. What is your experience using a mobile phone as an NDI camera in a live stream? So I know NDI is like, everybody's really into it, it seems like, and really trying to lean into the network distributed, I don't know what it stands for. It's over the network, right? I've tried it just once, using it into our old streaming software, where we had like a person doing the mobile like welcome pre-show kind of thing with a phone. It didn't work well at all for us. And I've talked to other guys that really have had more issues than they've had success, even on their own, like setting up their own private network. So as far as doing with mobile phones, maybe if you have a really solid network and you can trust it, then it'd be great. I think in theory it's really powerful, but I'm not sure. I can't really speak to it because my one experience of trying it was probably before it really has gotten more advanced. So maybe I should go back and try that again. Noah says, I've watched your service opening like 6 times now. So well done. Oh, thanks, dude. I really appreciate it. That was sweet. It was. Charles says, I wanted to do a Kabuki drop for Christmas or Easter the past couple years, but never pulled the trigger yet. Yeah. In my video, I talk about, I mean, it's been 5 or 6 years since I've been actually like almost pulled the trigger. And finally, it was just like, we're doing it and we'll just figure it out as we go. So, but I think for me, it was important to like try and tie that into an actual like symbolic thing and not just be a gimmick, you know, because it's cool, but we centered our whole messaging, branding, everything around Love Unveiled for Easter, because that's the thing with technology. Like, we can do just cool stuff, but using lighting, using different stuff to help tell the story, I feel like is much more powerful and a better use. For mobile phones, NDI, you want a hardwired dongle connection. So then at that point, it's like, I mean, just buy some cheap micro four thirds cameras and run them out of the HDMI port, you know? Like, I mean, even my iPhone 11 Pro looks okay, but like if I'm going to go out and buy a new iPhone or something like that because I want to be able to use it on live streams, it's going to be super expensive. And then now are you using everyone's personal phones on that Sunday, and then you're depending on them to show up and they got to be charged, and then I don't know. I'm not all in on that, but who knows? Maybe it's closer than we think. All right, let's do a few live stream reviews. Let's jump into these, and then we'll switch gears back and talk about some new stuff in the worship tech world. And if you have any questions for me, ask me anything today. I don't care if it's worship and tech related necessarily. I mean, I may not answer it, but you can ask me anything you want to. Let's go back and find Steve's. Steve was the first one that did our little super chat. So let's hop over here and see if we can find Steve. We want to go with first name, and now I don't know why it's not. Okay, there we are. Yep. There we go. We got you, Steve. All right, here's their setup. 3 ROS 12G PTZs, a ROS Pivot Cam PTZ, 1 Canon XF405. They got a lot of ROS stuff. A Resi encoder, 6 audio console running Dante SQ6. Sorry. Okay, their broadcast audio is mixed in a separate room. Okay, yeah, they've got a lot of great gear here. Let's check it out and see. And Steve would like the most help with just directing, shot composition, that kind of stuff. So not as much on the audio stuff, but we will listen. All right. Service begins in 14 seconds. It looks like it's already started. Volume is up.
All right, yes. What a powerful name it is. We have God's resurrection power moving and breathing in us. And I don't know about you, but I need something bigger than myself to make it through life some days. Welcome. We are so excited to have you here with us this Easter. I am Pastor Mo, and we have a tradition.
Okay, let's jump ahead here. I mean, that camera looks good. Skin tones look good to me. I'm peeking over at my MacBook. Looks nice and sharp, I think. I'm going to get here to where we're going on the music stuff, maybe. They're doing some scripture reading. Here we go.
Let the children sing a song of liberation. The God of our salvation set us free. Death, where is thy sting? The curse of sin is broken. The empty tomb stands open. Come and see. He's alive, 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 hallelujah. Alive, praising glory to the Lamb. He's alive, alive, alive.
I like your pacing on this opener. You know, it's got some peppiness to it, and you're switching pretty fast along with the song. So I'm assuming those ones that are kind of zooming out are your XF405, and these locked off ones are your PTZ ones. You know, you got a tall guy standing there. That's hard to manage sometimes. That happens. I don't know that you need your logo over there on the left side, on your lower thirds there. I like how you're doing some push-in, pull-outs. This one right here, I think this happens quite a bit. Let me peek over at my other monitor. Maybe not. I'm not going to talk about exposure either, because like I said, this TV is bad. It may not be overexposed. Let's keep going. They're getting into it. All right, so audio-wise, I will touch on that. You guys can too. I feel like I'm hearing some different panning stuff with vocals too strong on one side. Also, they feel, the whole band feels like it could be added into like a verb bus or something. Just needs like a little more space to it. And where I think audience mics, if you don't have them on here, I would think you would though in your setup. Just to kind of add that little bit of liveness to it. Are your drums acoustic drums? Yeah, the vocals just seem a little dry to me, but oh, they're electronic. I mean, to me, audio-wise, it's just kind of the classic thing that we hear a lot of times with church broadcast mixes, that the vocals are kind of out in front a little too much for my taste. I mean, you got electronic drums. Those should be really present in your broadcast mix. You're not having to worry about, you know, any ambient volume or anything like that. Cymbal sounds are always trouble, you know, kind of problematic with those kits. So that's why we always ran ours through Steven Slate SSD to kind of resample those through MIDI. That seemed to help us out a lot with the drum sounds. But yeah, maybe just try to bring a little more life into the mix with some different verb. And camera-wise, this shot I'm not in love with. I like this, you're a person that's trying to kind of add some different life and, you know, movement to the stream. You're doing some different close-ups. You got a little drum cam here. Let's see that. Yeah, so try to pop over to that on instrumentals. Positioning with cameras is really not terrible. Obviously, this one right here, you got that person standing in front of your keyboardist. And I would kind of even say on this one, you're capturing the whole stage. But to me, unless that, and maybe that male leads vocally a lot from the keys, it almost seems like you need more leading space in front of the women out there on the front of your stage. Like I would maybe pan it a little bit to where you have some space in front, to where it's more of like that side profile-y kind of thing. So,
ahead of you to Galilee.
Oh, this is interesting.
You will see him there.
I like that.
Remember what I have told
I think.
you. The women with great and they were first to the word of
Nice. Yeah, I like using that extra space over there with the camera to put the lower thirds up. That's great. These lower thirds is not quite as legible. But yeah, I think you guys, for what you're using, the PTZ stuff, it looks pretty good. You got good stage lighting. People's faces look nice and natural to me. So I think you're doing a great job. So thank you for submitting. Appreciate you. Okay, let's go to our next. Well, we'll go over here and it was Tank. Did you ever tell me what church you were with? I don't think you did. We'll find you. Yeah, I don't see you. So yeah, here it is. It must be this one, right? Yeah. Oh, okay. 3 PTZ optic cameras, Roland V1 SDI video switcher, Roland VR 1HD AV streaming mixer, and the trusty M32. That's what we use and still love. Although I would love to upgrade it to maybe a Wing or something like that, or an Avantis or whatever. But honestly, it still does the job. Okay, turn that volume up. Let's see. Easter service.
Spot. But we make light.
Indebted my sin, lost without hope, no place to
be the one with the most hope on. Audio mix. All right, guys, help me out in the audio. In my opinion, your vocal needs some more EQ to kind of maybe get rid of that 500 hertz-ish mud.
Ash was redeemed, only beauty remains. My orphan heart was given a name. My morning grew quiet, my feet rose to day.
I like that backdrop. Is that mod scenes?
Was arrested, my life began.
Looks really good.
Sing this out, come on. Oh, your grace so free washes over me. You have made me.
Those are good vocals.
It's your endless love pouring down on us.
I'm waiting for it to kick in to really evaluate.
Now life begins with you. Released from my chain, I'm a prisoner no more. My shame was a ransom, no more.
Okay, so I was just hoping that to like really feel those drums coming in. So yeah, I want those drums to be a lot punchier and in the mix. Do I even hear bass?
For your grace so free washes over me. You have made me new. Now life begins with you.
Yeah, I feel like just the low end is kind of missing in this one for me. And maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's just that kick and bass are not like present enough. And honestly, it almost sounds like like when you would download a 96 kilohertz song off LimeWire, you know, like it's just like too compressed or something maybe. Almost a little like digital distortion that I'm hearing. You got a lot of people there on Easter.
That's when death was arrested and my life began. Oh, for your grace, so free.
Yeah, I'm hearing overdrivenness. What are you guys hearing in the chat here? Oh, stage skins. Cool.
It's your endless love pouring down on us. You have made us new. Now life begins with you. Oh, we're free, free, forever we're free. Come join the song of all the redeemed. Yes, we're free, free, forever, amen.
Okay, so hopefully that helps you out a little bit on the audio stuff. I think you're doing a lot of stuff right. Let me peek over at your white balance stuff, which it's hard to say for sure when you got lots of purples and stuff kind of washing. I was thinking it might be a little washed, or like a little magenta-y on everybody's skin tones and stuff. But it may just be the backdrop. Let's look at him. That's blue. I got too many screens going here. I'm getting confused on what I'm clicking on. It's pretty good, actually. Oh my goodness. Okay. Too much going on. Too many screens. Too many things to click on. We did have some questions come in that I want to touch on real quick, and then we'll hop back over there to those live stream reviews. Let's see. How are you displaying these questions on your stream? So this is a software called H2R Graphics. It is free. They do have a level that you can level up for the paid version that's a little more pro, but you can do all of these things that I'm doing on this with H2R Graphics. And so the way, this is the back end of it that you open up. So you can do either Chroma or Luma, Chroma, Alpha, or Luma keys based on the screens that it makes. And then you have this rundown section where I could come in here and I could put up different questions or the countdown. Or if I go over to social, that's where I'm seeing all of y'all's comments. And then I can come in here and pin different comments and things like that if I don't want to forget them. So that is what I'm using for that. H2R Graphics. They also have a great extra program called, and it's John Barker, it's not a they, but H2R Gear? Is that where you can diagram your AV setups? We use that to kind of try our best to keep track of like routing of cabling and things like that. There's other programs out there. He continues to make upgrades to this one. You do have to pay if you want more than one like setup, but ours is just like our media stuff. So that's been helpful a couple times where I'm like, where does that have a converter in between it, you know, before that projector or whatever? It's up in the ceiling. So that's the main things we've tried to track in there that you can check out. But that's how I'm putting up comments, as H2R Graphics for this. And then here's a good question. What cameras would you recommend for a really low budget beginner stream? Well, I would say my go-to is always the Panasonic mirrorless cameras. There's a lot of options out there. You can look at, there's a video on my channel called, what's it called? Where I walk through all of this. If we just do, yeah, this one right here. Affordable multicam broadcast video setup. Perfect for live streaming. I talk about all of our different cameras and stuff. Wow, I've got a lot of stuff on the screen. Ooh. Yeah, that Church Tech Tour affordable multicam broadcast video setup. So just to spell it out, I would say a G7, a G85, even I bought a new I bought a used GH5 for $500 2 weeks ago off eBay to replace one of our other cameras. So that's probably where I would go, is somewhere in that realm. G85, GH5, and that's Micro Four Thirds land. And I think I have some other stuff out there talking about why I prefer that at this point. But the cost is definitely a big savings there if you can buy used. There's lots of those cameras out on the market. GH4 is still pretty good, but I like the G85 and GH5 because they have the sensor stabilization. So if you do throw them on like a slider or hand holding them, then that helps with that. Every system has its variations of these, in their line of cameras that you could dive into. So look at all the different ones: Canon, Sony, Blackmagic Pocket 4K, Pocket 6K. And I would say try to kind of stay in that lane, just because that way as you buy lenses and different things, it's going to help you along the road. Now you can see behind me over here, I've got a bunch of vintage lenses. When we first started, we had, I think, 2 GH4s and 2 G7s. And I just adapted old Canon FD vintage lenses onto them. And they worked decently well. I mean, you're not going to have any autofocus, no stabilization, anything like that. But for locked off shots, a 50 millimeter FD lens that you get for $30 wasn't a bad deal. So I don't know if I'd do that again, because you can just find used gear so cheaply now. But that's probably the route I'd go. You could also look at like Sony. If you're a Sony fanboy, there's like the ZV-E10 or the A6400, 6600. I think the 6600 has stabilization maybe. Blackmagic Pocket 4K is still a solid choice. If you're going Canon, don't go with like the M50. It does not have clean HDMI. Canon RP up here, that does have clean HDMI. But you can't record while outputting on HDMI. So everything has its little quirks and stuff that you have to, be worried about. And here's the deal. If you are really wanting to dive into something like that, you can always book a session with me to do a Zoom one-on-one and actually ask me questions, and we can go through some stuff like that. There's a link in the description of this video where you can do that. Question, Tobias. Rather buy a video hub or a video mixer with 2ME? So, was there new Blackmagic video hubs that came out this last week? I thought I saw maybe Doug, what's his name? Doug Jones? I think they came out with new video hubs that are 4K. Yeah, video hub that are 12G. I've not had time to look into these, but I'm not sure. For me, we don't need 12G at this point. So I really love the ATEM 2ME because of how many inputs and outputs it has. It has a 20 in and 12 out, I think. I'm gonna have to look at it, because could you use one of these and just use a Stream Deck to do your switching and stuff? I mean, these are just a patch between things, really. They don't have like MEs, right? And you're saying to do a video mixer with it? I'd probably lean more towards for most churches, I feel like the Extreme SDI that has 4 outputs, or the ATEM 2ME Constellation, are kind of like the sweet spots for value currently. But I mean, the ATEM Extreme HDMI is still great. It's got the 2 outputs and the 2 USB-Cs that you can get away with a lot of stuff if you're just doing a few cameras. So I will have to look more into that about the video hub, but to me, it probably doesn't make sense unless you're using it in combination with something else. I don't know, man. That's a good question. Good question. So Noah says we have a video hub and they're super useful. Is it just mainly for patching and sending different signals to different parts of the building and things like that? Because you can kind of do that already on the ATEM 2ME with its multiple outputs that are all auxes. It's not like the old school ones where it's just you have one aux. Awesome. Bought a G7 the other day on your advice. Appreciate it. Caleb asks, does the GH5, GH6 have good enough IBIS for volunteer handheld? Absolutely. So yes, just as an example, I mean, every week we have some 14 and 15-year-old boys. One of them is usually my son. Too many things on screen. That are just hand holding a GH5. If that GH5 has a stabilized lens as well, then it's really going to be rock solid. And I like it because, okay, so like for instance, here's some stuff. That's slider cam. This next one I think is handheld. There you go. They're just seriously just holding that in their hands, following him around. And with the combination of the 35 to 100 stabilization in the lens with the stabilization on the sensor, it's definitely, I think it's great handheld look that you would get with like a bigger rig up against your shoulder or something. So let's see if I can find any more shots of him. There we go. Sometimes they're tighter, sometimes they're wider. Just depends. But yeah, I think that's one of the reasons I really love it. Would you recommend projection or going for an LED wall? It depends. I think it depends on your space a lot. It depends on the vision of your worship media arts ministry, your budget, rigging complications and space issues, ambient light that you're trying to overcome. Obviously, you can get a great looking projection for much cheaper than an LED wall. But it can't do the same things. Now, there's so much to consider with that. We should really do a full video on this with some guys that have done a lot of LED walls and stuff and talk about it, because like for instance, we are in the middle of a giant giving campaign for our church, and one of those things is going to be a renovation of our worship space. So let me just show you that real quickly as we talk about LED walls versus projection. We're in the middle of this campaign that I've been had to be heavily involved in. It's called Made for More, and our commitment Sunday is May 7th. It's a 3-year giving journey at Central, and we are trying to do a lot. We're going to be completely remodeling our exterior of our church, adding a new kids worship space, renovating our current worship space, and adding, you can see stadium seating in the back here. This would be an LED wall, and these are all just concepts. This is not, nailed down. I haven't had any integrators in here yet or anything like that. But for us to put an LED wall here, we're also going to have to add a lot more front light to our setup, because currently our front light balances well with our projection. So on camera, it all works in tandem pretty nicely. if we were to put an LED wall in there, even if it was dimmed down to 10%, it's probably going to be overexposed on our camera stuff as we expose for people's faces. And so, those are things that you have to take into consideration. As you guys saw on that video that I put out about just us doing that scrim to be able to rig to the steel, our building really is not set up great for that currently. So that's going to be part of this whole endeavor as well, is creating new rigging points and dropping stingers down from the ceiling. And do we take out the drop ceiling? Who knows where this is going to end up? But it's a super exciting time to be a part of what's going on here at Central. So it's hard for me to just say projection or LED wall. I've yet to go and do a tour or talk to someone with an LED wall that actually regrets going that way. Now, there may have been some complications, or maybe they wish they maybe got a different panel or pixel size or something like that. But yeah. What would you say to a church that doesn't have any budget for online production? Any budget. I would first talk to that church about what their vision is for the future of their church. Who are they trying to reach? And work backwards from there and determine what is the best way to spend your funds that you do have. If you're trying to reach young families, the younger generation, putting ads in the yellow pages or your newspaper ad or, running billboards, things like that is not a smart way to invest your money. I would look at their budget and ask them, is there places where we can shift some funds around to be able to pour into this? I mean, I'm surprised that post-COVID that people would still not have any funding for that. So if they don't have any funding, then I would say, man, just what's it called? Not grassroots, but just like let people do like stories takeovers or something like that, and keep it really raw and authentic, and like literally stream from an iPhone. Don't even worry about live streaming your services. Have somebody make a video just highlighting kind of like what a day in the life of Sunday mornings at your church are like. And it's just a little 2-minute, 3-minute excerpt that's well done. And then have your pastor engaging with people throughout the week on, social media just from his phone. You can always just record sermons, MP3s, and upload them to his podcast. And so that would be a really easy baby step thing to kind of do to get your foot in the door. But I think just being present without having to have all the production is probably the most important thing. So that's what I would say to that church. Hey, looky here. Super chat. Thank you. Thanks for all you do. Appreciate your thoughts. If you get a chance to look at the Rivers Crossing submission, that'd be great. Awesome. Hey, perfect timing. Let's jump back into these live stream reviews. I believe we've got Noah up next, Noah Prail from New Palestine Bible Church, and then we'll look at yours after that. So let's jump back over here and see if we can find Noah's. I am going to delete this one so it's not there in the queue. There we go. They've got PTZ Optics 30X. That's a good zoom range. Canon R5, Canon R7, Zcam E2. I'd love to know which Zcam E2 it is, Noah, like on which shot, because that's interesting. Studio Pro 4K, Behringer Wing, but you're not streaming in 4K, I would assume. So we'll check that. Directing, shot composition, the Behringer Wing Stream Mix is a post-fader bus, so I'm very familiar with that setup. Not with the wing, but the post-fader bus. Let's pull it up and see. All right. Thank you for adding chapters. Scripture reading. Christ the Lord is risen today. Here we go. And I've reviewed this churches before, I'm pretty stinking sure. Right, Noah?
Christ the Lord is risen today.
I like it. It's a little remix of it.
Sons of men and angels say, Hallelujah.
Yeah, because I feel like I told you last time I felt like the audience mics were too hot in the mix. But maybe it's because I kind of feel like I hear his guitar in the audience mics, if that makes sense. Conga time. Sounds good.
Lives again our glorious King. Hallelujah. Where, O death, is now thy sting? Hallelujah. Dying once, he all does say, Hallelujah. Where thy victory, O
I like that shot down the line right there of the pianist. That's good. Center shot looks pretty good. I feel like maybe that's a tight shot. Looks really good on him. I hate these shots where it's kind of like bird's eye viewish down up on the wall. I mean, it's just me. I know all your shots are locked off, so you're kind of popping around to different things to kind of give it some more life, which is great. If you could just throw one person in the mix on a roamer camera. You got great cameras. Like you said, you had an R5, an R7, a Z-Cam. Like, let's take one of those off of these set positions, buy, you know, a Teradek, and get them roaming around the room. And that will help so much. Also, I mean, you got music stands everywhere. You know, I'm not a big fan of music stands for leaders. I feel like it creates that barrier in between us. You don't have drums going, so I liked your mix that you had there in the djembe moving in there. And so I guess since you don't have as much instrumentation going, maybe that liver feel actually is okay. I mean, I would want to lean maybe a little more on that side of it. So, let's hear the keys.
Hallelujah. Following our exalted head. Hallelujah. Made like him we rise. Across the grave, the sky. Hallelujah. He is not dead.
All right. I mean, pacing wise, I feel like your directing is pretty good here. Like I said, you just don't have much options to go between, so I would look at repositioning maybe one of these cameras into a mobile cam or something like that. I do like that you have something on stage there for the pianist that's not just all cameras at the back wall, just all doing different positions like this camera. It adds some depth to it, like a different perspective, so. I mean, it's mostly vocals. At least they're good.
To your glorious day.
But for me, your only melodic instrument is the piano, so I would maybe have that pushed up a little bit more just to add some more melodic interest in the music. You know, your acoustic guitar really is just a shaker that has some notes in it. I feel like the bass and the electric are real low in the mix.
You called my name, and I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness into your glorious day. You called my name, and I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness into your glorious day.
I also like your lower thirds. I like the way you're doing them.
I needed rescue. My sin was heavy. The chains break at the wasn't over.
All right, man. I think that wraps up my thoughts mostly. All right, let's move on to Rivers Crossing. They had a super chat, so let's go find them. I need to do the church. Rivers Crossing. I went the wrong way. There we go. I'm so smart, y'all. Awesome. Here we go. They've got, 5 Canon C300 Mark IIIs. Dang. 7200s. 18 to 80. On a Dana Dolly. 18 to 80 House Roamer. 1880 Stage Roamer. Couple of old Panasonic P2 cams. What's P2? I don't know what those are. Maybe those are PTZs. 8K Constellation. Audio mixed in Logic Live in another room. All right, honest, unbiased opinion. New volunteer. That's why Link starts on second song. Okay, so you got great gear. Let's see what you're doing with it.
Yes, Lord God, Lord, I thank you for the blood. I thank you for your sacrifice.
Man, am I in
Everything
HD?
you've done for me, freely given without spite. I thank you for your love that's not reserved for perfect hearts. The love that covers all of me.
How are you encoding?
It was given from
I just feel like I hear some artifacting in the compression or something. Is this the Dana Dolly? Or is that a Roamer? Got the hand raised. Let's go.
Was perfect love displayed. I forever sing this truth. You spared my life when yours was lost. I praise you for your mercy, and I thank you for the cross. Come on, who's thankful for Jesus today? Oh, matchless in pursuit.
Are you using plugins to do tuning, anything like that in Logic?
That day you gave it all for me.
Put that drum cam on a slider. Add some motion to it, unless that was a person just holding it. I think you said that was a P2 Panasonic or something.
So I follow your every lead.
Yeah, I'm hearing like swirlies, you know, like it's a YouTube compression thing maybe or something. I would compare your recordings to this.
The price you chose to pay on a hill where love would die.
I like that down the line. Backlights shining through.
I'll forever sing this truth.
Yeah, I want some more beams popping through though. More haze. Good on the right on the key bed level. That was good.
Come on, can we lift up the name of Jesus?
Oh yeah.
Sing hallelujah.
Nice vocal. But I want a little less of that vocal now, and I want more of that guitar coming through. Yeah, just like back down those vocals when they're ad-libbing, you know? I like the panning I'm hearing with your like rhythm electric over here, it felt like.
Lord, I thank you for salvation. I thank you
Okay,
for
let's
eternity.
audience mic time.
Shouldering my every sin, you carried up to Calvary. And how even with all I've done, you welcome me with open arms. So gladly I'll give everything, but I can't outgive the cross. Come on, sing that with me. So gladly I'll give everything, but I can't.
I wish on that Dana Dolly you could do zoom in, zoom out as it's, that way parallax it more. Maybe add some remote control of those lenses and have somebody sitting over there, you know, is it Nucleus Nanos or something like that, or even the PD Live Air stuff that we have. You could do something like that where you could have it at least zooming and then have your other person you know, controlling the back and forth. It almost sounded like a mistake more than it was like a cool arrangement thing. I love these in the crowd shots, you know, where you're just kind of rocking back and forth with them. That's great. We have our roamer on a gimbal, and they're doing a lot of like walking really fast Dana Dolly-ish type stuff. I like these shots over the shoulder where you can see the congregation worshiping. That's right. What's happening there when it's going to black real quick? I've seen that a couple times now. I just feel like you could accentuate the movement of that Dana Dolly stuff if you were tighter on the shots. I mean, overall, like, you guys are killing it, you know? So, I mean, I can't really say anything bad about that. I'll show you what I was talking about. If I go into our worship set, maybe I can find somewhere he was. So that's on slider for the keys, slider on the drums. Find one of our roamer. Where you at, Mike? There we go. That's pretty heavy in the crowds there, but sometimes we'll be up a little higher than that. But that's what I'm talking about, where it kind of shows the parallaxing more. They're twisting the gimbal as they walk. I don't like that they went to the cable cam right after that, but that's okay. And they're also, somebody's on remote panning that camera from the cable cam. So that's what I was kind of saying with, you could take advantage maybe more of that Dana Dolly actually going back and forth. Church on the Move has a really good shot that they always pull up with a similar thing. Red Rocks has one too, so you could look at those. But thanks for submitting, man. You guys are doing a great job. Lots of great use of technology there. Looks like your church is really engaged in worship, and it's awesome. All right, let me look back over here. I think we had, was there another? Yeah, here we go.
Thank you.
Can't wait to see what you think about Easter at Solid Rock. Cool. Let's pull it up, Isaac. Solid Rock. I'm pretty sure I've reviewed y'all's before. Poor Salt and Light. They've seen them that they're first this whole time, but you guys are just super chatting right by them. And I will allow it. And let me just pause to say that this live stream is not sponsored, but it is sponsored by all of you who use my Amazon affiliate links. I can't say thank you enough. It really does allow me to continue to do this. You know, I'm full-time here at my church. I have 3 children as well, and a wife who is a minister here at the church as well. So this, when you purchase things through my affiliate links, or you book a one-on-one Zoom call with me or anything like that, it's really just helping to support the channel. I mean, I'm making a couple $100 off YouTube, off AdSense, so it's not much. But the Amazon stuff really does help. So if you are going to purchase something and you just go back and click on one of the links in my videos, that's great. Or you can always go to my website, rylandrussell.com, and I've actually got a gear kit link on there with all the different lights and cameras and things that we actually use here that I can recommend. And that has links on there as well. So you can just go visit rylandrussell.com. And yeah, I need to get it like B&H affiliate links, I feel like, because I don't have that at this point. But yeah, Amazon for now. Okay, Isaac, where were we? You've got Sony a6000, Sony G Master 18-105 f4 on there with the Tilta title. Nucleus Nano follow focus for zoom control. That's the one I was talking about. Then 2 more Sony a6000s with 50 mils on Hollyland Mars 400Ss. Beware of the latency on those guys. So we'll see that. A10-1ME controlled via companion with Stream Deck. We've been loving doing that. It's easy and flexible. Like, you can make it do a lot of things. Directing, shot composition. Let's pull it up. Yep, I knew it. Is this where you wanted me to start?
Amen. Come on, can we put our hands together for Jesus?
Nah, that wasn't where you wanted me to start. Here we go. All right, volume's all the way up. It's a great looking shot. It doesn't seem as loud overall. That looks good. I thought I saw some banding there on your LED wall. That stuff, you got a lot of vocalists, you know. I want that snare popping through, though. I like that. Uh-huh. I get like you're having to kind of pan across to kind of show everybody. There's nothing wrong with that. This shot looks great. Your lower thirds do kind of get lost sometimes. Are you guys using tracks? Yeah, I want more drums in this mix and a little less vocals. And one thing I hear people doing a lot, we've done it, we've tried it a little bit, is you know, doing that vocal bus and then adding compression to that vocal bus to kind of help glue all those together. So I don't know if you're already doing that or not, but that might help a little bit.
Ain't no rock, ain't no rock, ain't no rock.
I like that shot of the drums.
Ain't no rock, ain't no rock, ain't no rock. Put a cry in my face. Ain't no rock, ain't no rock.
Oh yeah.
Ain't no rock, ain't no rock. Put a cry in my face.
This takes me back to an old song called Ain't No Rock we used to do.
Put a cry in my face. Ain't no rock, ain't no rock, ain't no rock, ain't no rock, ain't no rock. Put a cry in my face. Ain't no rock, ain't no rock, ain't no rock, ain't no rock, ain't no rock.
You know, you got a lot of purples going on, so that will bleed over into people's skin tones, which is a little dangerous there. It's not a big deal, but I think most of that is coming from your LED lights. But I mean, as far as shot composition and stuff like that, things are looking pretty solid to me. I love those over the shoulders. These from up front on the stage are looking really good. You got that separation. Oh, there you go. That's funny. That always happens. I mean, I wish this one wasn't quite as tight, is maybe the only thing. Pan around is okay. I love the drum shots you're doing here, where you're kind of peeking into the drum cage. The one thing I haven't seen is just an establishing wide shot that maybe, like if I'm new to your church, at the very top here, you know, you got a guy speaking here at the beginning, kind of doing his thing. But at some point, I'm going to want to try and establish the room for someone who's new to my church. These are all really tight shots. And I like to throw in at least one wide at the start of the songs or at the end of the songs, that kind of thing. Or on a big impactful lighting moment. You know, your lighting stuff, we can't really see what's happening. And it doesn't look like you're using any haze to me. And you've got some movers going on that are more like washes and not gobos. So that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Unless you're just doing color wash and that's kind of your vision for that. But you got these, you know, movers on the back of people right there that you're probably not taking full advantage of their beams and things like that. So I love the energy. I love the worship there. The cutting, the directing, it looks like you guys are doing really well. So yeah, man, those are my thoughts. Thanks for submitting. Hopefully that was somewhat helpful. Just keep on trying to make it better. That's what I always say, right? Let's do great things for God's glory. Let's look over here on your comments. I completely agree with this. A lot of times our Web Presenter HD almost looks like it's peaking too. Awesome, man. Yeah, it was great. All right, we got another super chat in the house. William Case, thanks for reviewing streams and helping us. Hope Baptist Church. Cool. Well, let's check it out. Hope Baptist Church. Ain't no rock. What am I doing here? Oh, I went left instead of right. I was on the wrong window. I was like, I can't click. Hope. All right. 3 PTZ cameras for left, center, right. The classic setup there. 1 G7 for crowd shot and an ATEM Studio HD. Audio is post fader from X32. Awesome, man. That sounds very similar to kind of like how we started out our stream. We didn't have PTZs, but we just had that classic left, center, right into Studio HD. So let's see how it's turned out here for you. This is Hope Baptist Church, and they like the most help with just angles, coloring, that kind of setup of their stream. Is there anything different they could do, adjust, change when it comes to their camera setup here?
There is no Christian faith. Amen?
Yeah, I've reviewed you guys before.
This opportunity to be here.
Something's up with that camera. It's very, like, is it back focused maybe? Like on the wall? He's super soft. Come on. We're going. We're still going. Here we go.
I love to sing your praises. I'm so glad you're in my life. I'm so glad you came to save us. You came from heaven.
I feel like the audio is ahead of the video right here. Am I dreaming that? Watch the guy singing.
From the earth to the cross, my debt to pay. From the cross to the grave, from the grave to the sky. Lord, I lift your name.
Or is the audio behind?
Sing it, church. You came from heaven to earth to show.
Hold on, we're gonna figure this out, y'all.
From the earth to the cross.
Yeah, it's ahead. Maybe 50 milliseconds. Depends on what frame rate you're streaming in. Maybe 100 milliseconds. If you're 5994, it'd be less. Yeah, you're gonna want to figure that out. But I feel like it looked fine when he was talking earlier. That's what's weird. Am I dreaming that? Let's go ahead here. Yeah, I was curious if his mic was out. All right, volume is up. Drums need to be a lot louder. I'm sorry, y'all. That drives me crazy when we literally have electronic drums and you have full control over the mix. And it's a stereo bus, so you should be a post fader bus. So you might consider doing the same thing we've done and taking those drums and not running them through your post fader bus. Instead, set them as pre-fader, put them at the right level for your stream, and just leave them. Like nothing is changing on that kit week to week hardly, unless you're using different presets maybe that are louder or softer. And then that way it does not matter who's running sound and how loud or soft they have them in the room. Your drums are going to be at the right level. Try that.
Every desire is now satisfied here in your love.
Yeah, and something's up with your lower thirds. It feels like they should either be black letters or completely clear.
Better than you, Lord, there's nothing is better than you. I'm not afraid to show you my weakness, my failures and flaws, Lord, you've seen them all.
Yeah, it's just real vocal heavy, but let's look at cameras, angles. They've got 4 set angles. Can they do anything different? And your acoustic guitar sounds like it has a chorus pedal on it or something, maybe. It's got some verb on the vocal though. Sounds good. I'm just missing the low end here in the mix. That's a good shot, good headroom, good look placement. This on it's just your right PTZ. It is what it is. It's okay. I like that you can at least see people in it. I like this framing better. And then you got your wide shot. I mean, honestly, if it were me, I would take one of your corner PTZs, one of your left or rights, probably the right one, and put it up on stage somewhere and run some cable up to it, just so you can have that different perspective. Maybe it's just down the line, down the side where your guitarist is on that stage right, you know, over there. Put it down here where it's just going pew, or it's shooting down your back line here, because I think this guy leads some too, and maybe you could catch through the drums or something. I don't know. I would just play with some different placements there to have a more in the mix kind of shot, and then it could still be static. So that's what I would say. Thanks for submitting again, though. I really appreciate it. And thank you for super chatting. It really means a lot. And you guys don't have to do that. I mean, it does move you to the front of the line if you just came and submitted. But yeah, you don't have to do that. Let's look back at my comments section here. My iPad wasn't working to be able to do my comments, you know, up here where I usually don't have to have multiple things on this screen. But one issue we've had is we ran out of IP addresses on our main subnet, so we had to add a separate or a secondary subnet or open it up to .1 and maybe .2, I don't know. But like, so my MacBook is .1, but this iPad is still in .0, so either the subnet doesn't match, so it can't communicate with this, and there was like 5 minutes before we were starting, so you know, it is what it is. Okay. Yeah, I would just go, you can go all the way, see how dark this gray is right here? That's behind that. I'm doing Luma key on here for this, and I did the same thing. If it was all the way black, it would be gone. But even just barely, as long as your clip and your gain settings are adjusted correctly, it'll be fine. So, you know, you can, like if we go in here, we open this, we bring, I can't do that. Can I do this? I can't see it because my camera's blocking it. If we go downstream key, yeah, I have the clip at 7% and the gain at 70. But if I even take that down, and eventually, I forget which one screws it up the most, but we're at 70. See that? Now it's going to start trying to key it. So I found 7 and 70 seem to work well for that, I think. I don't know, y'all. Yeah. Oh, I was seeing this gray on right here, and I was like, is it starting to key this out? That's actually just my wall. I thought I had broken something. Sorry. Was there other questions or comments? We got some other tips in here. Hey, what's up? Thanks for being here. Cool. All right, we are going to go back to the top of the list, and we have 27 minutes left to review some of these streams. And on these, we're going to start pumping through them, and I'm going to go speed. Oh, I keep going left instead of right. We're going for speed on these. We're going back to number 1. And Salt and Light Baptist Church, you've got a bunch of good stuff here. Representer HD, Constellation ME2, G7s, Stream Deck, Stream Companion. You're using the broadcast template from Bethel, and they want the most help with camera placements and coloring and things like that. So let's check her out. Wow, you You got some backlights going with those curtains, so that's gonna be a struggle trying to control exposure for that. I mean, if you could shoot with a camera that's 10-bit maybe in like Vlog or D-Log or something like that and recover those, that'd make it look a lot better, because that's immediately where my eye goes. And I wouldn't hang on these shots for that long. I mean, also this wide shot almost seems like it's like, why is the screen cut off, you know? There we go, that's good framing there. Lose the music stand. You're just looking at the music stand instead of looking up. I hear some clapping, but it's very stereo spreadish. It's almost like too direct. It's not like an audience clapping, it's like 3 people clapping. That's kind of what I was talking about earlier with audience mics. With just piano and guitar though, on your cajon player singing, this vocals sound great.
I sing through the night. Oh God, the battle belongs to you.
This sounds much fuller than the one that had a full drum kit, you know? Because the pianist understands there's no bass player, so she's kind of filling in down in the lower octave and that kind of stuff. Now they have drums here. I don't know why. Maybe just to, it says an upside down world turned upside down. Maybe it's like we're gonna turn worship upside down and just do an acoustic set. But you've only got the 2 cameras, it looks like, to pop between, so you're doing the best you can there. Those are some of my initial thoughts. Thank you for submitting, and good job. You don't have to have all the bells and whistles, big band, and all that stuff. People were still engaged in worship, you know? And that's our jobs. 1 camera, no switcher. We use ProPresenter. All right. Super basic. Here we go. Fast forwarding. Here we go. Here we go. So they do have 1 camera, but they are moving it around and trying to do some different stuff. We've gone wide here to show full band. What do you want the most help on? Audio mix. Piano sounds pretty muddy. You're gonna have that issue with grands. Just try to move them away from a grand piano. It's gonna be a lot cheaper and better in the long run. That's what we had to do. You can watch a video on my channel about our keys rig setup. Or you're gonna have to get an Earthworks or something like that to really make it sound great. Very vocal heavy. Luckily the vocals sound good. It's just way too much. Okay, I do hear bass in there a little bit. Yeah, I want more drums, more bass, more guitar. Clean up the muddiness of the piano, back down the vocals a little bit to kind of unify them and actually have someone that's actually the leader. I feel like she's the one leading, but it doesn't appear that way with the way everything else is. And so she's kind of in the back, you know, it's kind of odd. But anyways, that is that. And if you guys hear anything, feel free, seriously, put them in the chat. We're trucking through these unless I see a super chat. I have declappinators. Is that a real thing? Yeah, same thing, John. I agree. Okay. Harvest Bible, North Iowa. Oh, I went the wrong way again. Jay, yeah, okay. Oh, you're making me go Facebook. Oh. PTZ Optics NDI. Audio is sent to stream from X32. Mostly audio mix is what he's wanting help with. Okay. Let's see.
The book of Ephesians,
Volume's
verse by verse,
up.
we've been
Our battles, and every knee will bow before Him. Our God is the Lamb that was slain for the sin of the world. His blood breaks the chains, and every knee will bow.
I like your stage design.
The Lion and the Lamb, every knee will bow before Him. So open up the gates, make way before.
So I'm hearing some overdriven stuff. It just seems like things are peaking, vocally mainly. Probably just need to back down those vocals a little bit and maybe set everything just a little bit lower, and then slap that, you know, precision limiter onto it to kind of bring it up where you want it. But don't try to push everything, you know, up to get it loud enough, if that makes sense.
Every knee will bow before Him. Our God is the Lamb.
Drummer's getting after it. Your cameras don't look in focus though. This one especially. I don't know that lower thirds need to be this big.
Before the Lion and the Lamb, oh, every knee will bow before Him.
And if you are using tracks, I don't hear any tracks.
Who can stop the Lord Almighty? Who can stop the Lord Almighty? No one. Who can stop the Lord Almighty? Who can stop the Lord Almighty? Yeah.
Okay. There you go, Jay. Hopefully that was somewhat helpful. I mean, it looked like your team was super into it, you know? And I love to see that. It's so much better than just statue worship, you know, like we're just standing up there like statues. Abiding Word Church, Doug. 2 Canon XA11s, 2 Panasonic GH7s, a piano and slider in the back, GoPro 7 on drums. Wants the most help with directing, so here we go. Goodness, that's a long countdown, 20-something minutes.
My name is Pastor. We're in the room today. We're members who can read.
Oh, I clicked it.
First, the connection first at 10 a.m. It will look forward.
This is how God loves the world. He gave His only Son, that who believes would never die.
What kind of cameras? XA11s. Older camcorders. Dang, she went for it.
Our Friend Day services are.
Oh, that wasn't the service. I was kind of wondering, I was like, are we there?
Has ever overcome your life? There is no rival that could ever stand against your mind. You've always been with us.
Okay.
Every battle you've already won. You've already won.
Skin tones look good. There you go. Go to something else during these instrumentals, not a close-up.
There is no
I like your LED tape stuff that's kind of coming out over.
left a mark on you. There is no army.
I wish I could hear those drums a little more. I know it's real Tommy right now, but
You've always been with us. Every battle you've already won. We've already won.
Whoops.
He's the God of the breakthrough, and anything is possible.
I'm gonna look at it over here.
Show me one thing that's too hard. Show me waters we can't fall. He's the God of the breakthrough, and anything is possible. It's possible. There is a kingdom. It's advanced.
Sorry, Mom. I'm like checking out here. I'm thinking about other things. I was just listening. I mean, you could probably don't have to stay on this shot that long. Try to pop around a little more. Do we have any roaming cameras? I think you just said you have 2 XA11s and 2 G7s. So too much headroom probably there on that one. Your backline's real in the dark. There's a drum shot with the GoPro. Let's see if I can catch that. Yeah, it's still not wide enough. It's okay. I'm surprised the GoPro's not wide enough. I mean, this shot would be great maybe if it was moving a little bit. It's probably too wide to just kind of hang on. You'd want to stay tighter most of the time and pop to the wides every once in a while. It's good framing on her. I mean, you got this great LED wall, it looks like, behind everybody, and I mean, utilize that to frame people a little bit more if you can. It's all real low though. Maybe you have to do that for exposure on people's faces. Sorry, I'm just popping through here. It'd be great to add a little bit of ambient color onto your audience too, just to kind of show them a little bit. I mean, it's very crushed blacks, it appears to me. Of course, this TV is not trustworthy, the one I'm using today. It seems like all the blacks are like super crushed, and I'm not like against crushing blacks. It's not like I want to show the dirty stage areas, but there's like zero shadow definition, it seems like. I'm looking at my MacBook Pro to kind of see where I just wish there was a little more washy stuff going around where we could see a little bit more going on. But your people that are in spotlights, they seem to be exposed correctly and look really good. So there you go. "13 minutes, y'all." Make sure I didn't miss anything in the chat here. Yeah, fade to black button. Okay. Yeah, that's no good. You're quite welcome, Doug. Anytime. All right. Let's go back over here. Beach Church, Jarrett. They use Blackmagic Studio 4Ks. Looking at, they're only broadcasting at 720. They do iMag on the second ME. Okay. So Blackmagic 4Ks. Oh. Not that. If you guys are enjoying this live stream and you hung with me this long, go ahead and hit that like button. Just very gently tap that like button. Do not smash it. Okay. Acoustic version.
There was a moment.
Oh, no, that's not what I thought this was. Listen.
There was.
Listen. That sounds just like Rattle. Maybe they just did Rattle? No. It sounded like, you know, the intro to Rattle, but on an acoustic guitar.
There was a moment when the lights went out.
That's a good verb.
When death had claimed its victory.
Mm-hmm.
The King of Love had given.
Okay, there's a long push in here. So that, see guys how they're doing a separate ME mix for the iMag in the room is what I was talking about. That's so much better than trying to make it work for both. Cello. Gotta love the cello. See how they're using the LED wall to kind of back, create something behind him there. That looks good. He seemed a little warm when I looked at my MacBook there. I like that shot. A little greenish orangey on that. A little out of focus too, right? You gotta check that focus on those locked off shots.
Sing it out. All hail Jesus. All hail the Lord of heaven and earth.
Vocals sound good.
All hail Jesus. All hail the Savior.
Would love it if that guitar was stereo guitar to where his verb and effects were in stereo. Doesn't sound like they are to me. Getting it going. Let's go. Yeah.
There was a moment when the sky lit up.
I like it. Pow.
A flash of light was breaking through. And all was lost.
Yeah, the drums are good.
across eternity. The King of Life was on the move. For in a dark cold tomb.
Yeah, for some reason, I mean, check focus, check white balance for sure on your key lights. Sound sounds great. Let's just pop ahead here. Once things get big, can we see your backline, people? Like, why at this point are we still, everybody's still in the dark? Maybe it's coming. No? Oh. I like it.
Sing it with us. Oh, hail King Jesus. Oh, hail the Lord of heaven.
I wish I could hear them singing. That's tough, you know. You even step back, which is when you might want to add one of those side chains on the audience mics. Good job. Good job. All right, we got time for one more. And hey, looky there. John, you're reading my mind. All right, we're gonna do one more, and we're gonna go and check out my friends here in Owasso, the Refuge. Oh, did you submit? Maybe I need to go up here and click on that. All right. This one. You hear them vacuuming? Thanks, John. Okay. Refuge TF1 soundboard. Marshall PTZs, A10 Mini Pro. And then it goes out of ProPresenter to Restream. All right, here we go. Volume is up.
Trouble knocking at my door today. I ain't gonna let it in. The worry wanna steal my joy away, but I ain't gonna let it win. 'Cause on my best day,
right. Showing the church live.
I'm a child of God, oh, every day is a good day. And you're the reason why I'm so blessed, got this heartbeat in my chest. No, it doesn't matter about the rest. If I got you, Lord, I'm so blessed.
See, I was thinking that was just the video. That was actually them playing live? Okay.
When I count the problems that I see, hope it's all but gone. But when I count the ways you're good to me, you got me counting all day long. I'm so blessed, got this heartbeat in my chest. It doesn't matter about the rest. If I got you, Lord, I'm so blessed. And I'm so blessed, got this heartbeat.
Yeah, pop around to some, different shots with those PTZs a little more often, maybe, Wesley. And I'm thinking that we got some of the same stuff going on where audio is a little ahead of the video, maybe.
Every day is a good day. You're the reason why. On my best day, I'm a child of God. And my worst day, I'm a child of God. Oh, every day is a good day. You're the reason why I'm so blessed.
There you go.
I'm so blessed. Got this heartbeat in my chest. It doesn't matter about the rest. If I got
Vocals
you,
sound good.
Lord, I'm so blessed. And I'm so blessed.
I'm turning it down just a little bit and pop through here. There you go. You got it. Another PTZ of up close. So I would just try to maybe change up shots a little more often and start out on this wide shot to where you kind of show the room a little bit as we get going there. There you go. And then go to this video. I like that. That's what I would do. Refuge news, very nice.
They're right here in the sanctuary.
Okay. There we go. And I would just try and make, your lead vocalist be the loudest vocal on that each song. You might look at doing a different lower thirds theme that kind of shows up a little easier. That would be a good idea. Yeah, get people looking up. Alright. There you go, man. Alright, guys. Have you enjoyed the live stream today? Are you having a good Friday? We've been on here for 2 hours. So we're going to wrap things up here and make sure there wasn't anything that I wanted to talk about that I forgot to. The final thought that I will give, and I would just love to chime in here, is have any of you signed up for the pro content from ProPresenter? Are you going to? Pro content, they released an update to ProPresenter where I guess they're taking visual media church stuff, subscription stuff, and integrating it directly into ProPresenter. As of now, we're using 7.13, but I'm not signed up. We have other things. I mean, $199 doesn't sound bad. Here's my concern, and maybe y'all can help me with this. Is it similar, like, will I lose all the content if, like, next year I don't keep my subscription? Will all that stuff disappear? Because currently with Igniter and other ones we've had, you download the content and it's yours. And this seems like it's like you just drag it in from the store. Do you actually, surely you have to like download it onto your computer though. So I need to play around with that. I'm curious if any of y'all have signed up for it or done anything with it. We have not. You know, you could, if we look here in ProPresenter, it's just got the pro content, you know, there. What happens if I click it? Does it want me to download it? Oh. I thought free. So I can't just play it. I already logged in. What if I click download? Oh, goodness. Oh, my Lanta. I give up on you. It's not that important. Looks like another subscription fee. Everything is turning into subscription fees and it's frustrating. Yeah. You do have a local copy on the data in your ProPresenter folder. Okay. You're welcome, James. Yeah, I signed up for an account. I don't know. I already signed in this morning. Interesting. You can only use it while you have a current subscription. I don't know. Yeah, we use Igniter. It's been good for us. And, you know, ever since they started pulling in a lot of different creators and not just doing Igniter stuff, it's been, I think it's held its value for us. I think we're not at the top tier, but we do pay for the one where you can have the After Effects files and the PSDs. So we also have, I got in on Sunday Social when they were first launching. And I think now we pay $10 a month or something for it. I do have a subscription to Adobe Graphics Stock, and it just drives me crazy. I've wanted to cancel it so many times, but we've got like 150 credits on there or something. It's like $30 a month. It's crazy. And I was like, well, we're never going to use those this year. I'll just go ahead and cancel it. If you go to cancel it, though, you lose all your credits. You don't, you know, so I'd have to go in and spend them all. So, oh, yeah. No, and there are some that there was one that I signed up for that I didn't realize. It is a locked-in thing for a year. Who was it? One of the offshoots, one of the smaller ones, that has really good stuff. But I did just want like one series for a series we were doing. I was like, I'll just sign up for a month, download that series, and then, you know, quit. But no, I had to pay the whole year. And I get it, like, yeah, if you have access to it, I guess you could go on and download their whole library, but make your content valuable enough that you're upkeeping it to where I don't want to cancel, because you're always adding new stuff, you know? I mean, who has time to go in and download a full library of random things? I don't know. Okay. Well, friends, it's been fun. I hope that you've enjoyed this live stream. It had been about a month since we did one, so we got through quite a few of your live stream reviews. If I didn't get to yours and you really would like to sit down with me one-on-one, remember there's a link in the description of this video where you can do some Zoom one-on-one consults with me. Now that we're past Easter, I think I have a few more openings on my calendar that if you go into there, you can click through and find. Or if you have another question about just things you're trying to do, accomplish in your ministry and your tech stuff, that you'd like to bounce some ideas around with somebody, I've done that with lots of guys. I'd be happy to do that. So I think it's affordable, and hopefully it'd be worth your time. But that's all the time we have for this live stream review session. Remember, guys, we do a lot of great things. Let's do it all for God's glory. See ya.